What's up, guys? So in this video we'll be talking about how we can dynamically format our bar charts in Power BI using DAX measures particularly, so you can highlight what is important for your stakeholders, such as the top 3 item or the bottom 3 item, like you can see on the screen. So this can help you draw your stakeholders' attention to what is important on your bar charts. So necessarily this helps in making sure your audience quickly understand what is on your visuals. So this also helps in quick decision making. So without wasting too much time, let's get straight to the video. Welcome back to the video. So like I mentioned, we'll be looking at how we can dynamically format our bar charts in Power BI to help us highlight important items such as the top items or the bottom items. This could be top 5, bottom 5, top 3, however the case may be. So this will all happen dynamically. So normally you wouldn't be able to do this just using the normal Power BI chart formatting options, but with a DAX measure we can do this in such a way that it is going to always dynamically highlight these top or bottom items for us. So let's jump straight to my screen. Okay guys, so this is my Power BI screen, and as you can see I already have a bar chart set up here, and what we are seeing right now is just the different data rows and their average salary. So I want a situation whereby this my bar chart will always highlight maybe the top 3 data rows that has the highest salary. But if I try to do this from the normal Power BI chart formatting options, I would have to individually give these top 3 now, in this case data science, data architect and data engineer. I have to manually change the colors for these 3 items. So think of this scenario. What if someone filters these charts, maybe by year or something else? What if the chart gets filtered, and then for that filter condition these 3 data rows are no longer the top 3? Now these 3 data rows will still be highlighted, which may not be correct in such scenario. So I want to set up a situation whereby the top 3 is always highlighted no matter how the chart is filtered or no matter what the case is. So long as they are the top 3, it doesn't matter which of these rows, so long as it has the top 3 salary, it should always be highlighted using a particular color. So instead of doing this manually from the Power BI chart formatting option, instead we are going to create a DAX measure for this. So with this DAX measure we can handle this kind of formatting, and this is going to help us make it more dynamic and much more efficient. So let's see what that is going to look like. So I'll quickly open up my DAX measure. So I'll go to new measure. When I do that, my formula bar comes up. So I'm just going to call this measure maybe top 3 for instance, and then the idea for this measure is just basically using a simple if statement to just say if a certain row falls within the top 3 highest salary, we want to give it a certain color, otherwise we are going to give it a different color. So we'll start by opening up our if function, and then for our logical test arguments we'll be using the rank x function to help us rank these rows according to their average salary. So I'm going to use the rank x function for my logical test. Now the rank x function is asking me for a table. So the table we are going to pass here now is going to be the table that is holding all these different rows. So for that I'll use the all function to get all the rows from the current row column. So using the all function, this will help us fetch all the rows in this current row column, And then if I add comma, this takes me to the next argument, expression. So the expression here is basically how do we want to rank these rows, how do we want to rank them. So I want to rank them based on their average salary. I already have a measure that is calculating the average salary, so I will just pick that measure. So what's happening here right now is we are just saying rank these rows according to their average salary. So if this is what I want, I just close my rank x function. So we just need to add one more thing here, which is to say now where it is less than or equal to 3. So this will now help us look for those rows where their average salary falls within the top 3. So if that is true, so I'll add comma. So now as you can see, we are on the result if true argument. So basically what that means is if this argument is true, it is true that a row falls within the top 3 based on the average salary. What do we want to do? If that is true, we just want to use maybe green to highlight them. And then results if false. So when that is not true, what do we want to do? I want to use maybe a gray color to highlight those rows that are not within the top 3. So once I do that, I'll close my if function here. So if I run this now, I'll click on enter, and then as you can see, nothing is happening to the visual just yet. The visual is still looking exactly the same. There's no change. The top 3 has not been highlighted. So but you notice we now have a measure, the top 3 measure here now. So it is this measure we are going to use to format this visual. So I'll start by clicking on that visual, and then make sure you open up your visual formatting tab. Now scroll down to bars, and then on bars make sure you are on all categories. So from here now we can see the color. So like I said, if you should pick any color, that color is going to be the color for all your categories, but that's not what we want. We want to use our top 3 measure to format these colors. So we are going to use conditional formatting, which is this FX button right here. So click on conditional formatting, and then for our format style, instead of rows, we'll be using field value. So basically based on the value of a field or a measure. So what field should we base this on? So that means what measure do we want to base it on in this case? So we'll change it, and I'll go to my DAX table, and I'll just pick the top 3 measure that we just created now. So I'll select that, and then I'm going to OK it. So as you can see, the moment we OK it, it is already highlighting the top 3 rows according to their salary. So even if this visual gets filtered, and if these 3 rows are not the top 3 for that filter context, it is still going to automatically highlight the accurate top 3. So that's the benefit of this. So assuming top 3 is not what we wanted, maybe top 5, you can just easily go back to your DAX measure and just change it from 3 to 5, and then that is going to reflect the change. So instead of highlighting the top 3, it is now going to highlight the top 5 instead, as you can see on the screen right now. So this is how you can basically highlight the top 3 or the top 5 item depending on what you are trying to achieve. So another scenario could be trying to highlight maybe the bottom 3. So for the bottom 3 is a bit different. We'll make some minor adjustments to our charts. We'll make some minor adjustments to our measure. So I'm just going to copy this measure first, so I don't have to repeat all this again. I'm going to copy the measure, and then I'll be creating a new measure again. So I'll paste that measure I just copied here, and instead of top 3, I'm going to call this bottom 3. So I'll set this to 3. So everything is going to look almost the same, but we'll go back into our rank x function, Remember, for the top three, we stopped at the expression argument, as you can see here. But we still have three more arguments: the value argument, the order argument, the ties argument. So we did not look at them earlier for the top three because they are optional. And for the top three, we didn't really have any use for them. So, but to get the bottom three, we'll need the order arguments for that. So we don't really need the value argument, so I will just put comma again to skip that. And then now we are on the order argument, and then automatically you can see ascending or descending. So if I set this to ascending order, what that means is now going to rearrange the top three, the ranking, in ascending order. So that basically means bottom three. It's similar to what you do in SQL when you do order by, when you combine the order by and the limit statements together to achieve the top three or bottom three. So it's still the same idea here. So instead of doing descending order, which gives us the top three, now we'll be using ascending order. So if I set it up like this, I will just add this ascending order for the order argument, and then I'm going to enter now. We have created that measure. I'll now go back to format this visual again. So I'll go back to bars, and then I'm going to clear this conditional formatting that we are using for the top three. I'm going to remove it. Click on conditional formatting again. So we'll just repeat that same process. Instead of rules, we are going to use field value. And then what field should we base this on? It's going to be based on the bottom three measure we just created. So I'll pick that, and then I'm going to OK it. And then as you can see, it is now highlighting the bottom three rows for us. But for the case of bottom three, it doesn't really make sense, or this visual is not very effective because we are trying to show bottom three. So it will only make sense if we sort this chart in ascending order as well. So you just click on this ellipse icon here on the visual, look for sort axis, and then sort it in ascending order by the average salary. So it's already sorting by average salary, so we'll change it from descending order to ascending order as well. So once we do that, you can now see that it is now highlighting the bottom three items for us, and this way it is much more effective to easily read and understand that okay, these are the bottom three items. So in a nutshell, that's how you can use your tax measure to automatically or dynamically highlight the top or bottom items. So the last thing we can also do with this formula is to set up a situation whereby if there are ties, how do you want to handle it? Take for example, if you have two rows or two categories or three categories that have exactly the same values, how do you want to handle them? So meaning, assuming maybe we have database developer and data analyst, they are both $37,000. So are you going to just do 1, 2, 3 as the top three, or those values sharing the same those categories rather sharing the same value should be sharing the same rank or position, and then any other thing that comes after that will fall in the next rank? So what we can just do is add one more argument to our formula. So if I go back to the tax measure, so you notice we still have one more argument, which is the ties. So how do we want to handle ties? So we can just use the dense rank. So this is still similar to the SQL dense rank function. So you can now say when there are ties, we want to use the dense rank method. So meaning it is not going to skip those values. They are going to be present. So if we set this up, any place where categories, where more than one categories are sharing the same value, it will group them together as the same rank before moving on to the next rank. So although for this current scenario and visual we are looking at, we don't have any categories that are sharing the same value, so you won't actually notice the effect on this particular visual. But when you have such scenario And this is the best way to approach it, whether it's for the top or bottom that you're trying to get. Always try to use the dense rank method, so that when you have multiple categories sharing the same value, it doesn't end up skipping some of them. It's going to group them together and give them the same rank. So if I enter this now, like I said, you're not going to notice any change or any difference in this particular visual, so it will still remain the same. This is much more effective if we had values that are if we have categories rather that are sharing the same values. So I hope you got value out of this video, and if you like more videos like this, or if you would like more videos like this, like and subscribe, and also turn on the notification so you can get notified whenever we upload a new video. So always try to upload new videos every week, or where I share tips and tricks on different data tools, my favorite data tools, data trends, and basically everything about data that I know. I'm going to be sharing my experience, tips and tricks as well. So do well to like this video, share this video with your friends, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thank you, and see you in the next one.